Hey FFBE, what's going on? So here we are with another, I don't know what to call this yet, equipment review for the week of October 19th. So we are going over all the equipment that came out this previous week. Should you farm it? Should you try and go for the Trust Mastery, STMR, Vision Card? What from this week is must get, and what, if you miss it, you know, no tears will be shed. So my guest this week is Gerrtt84. Say hello, Gerrt.
Hey everybody in Flip's channel verse, and hello to some of you guys are in mine too. We do share some audience, which is kind of fun. So hey there, and thanks for having me.
No problem. Sorry if I'm a little bit tongue-tied today. I don't know what that's about, but you know, we'll go ahead and get on with this. So our first item that we're going to go over is the Verschmel Suit Plus Plus. This is a craftable from the story event. What do you think about this one?
So I think if you were just to look at the raw stats on it, you know, 58 MP. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I really miss the days when they would give you, like, you know, like 60 attack and 2 defense. And it's like, why do they put these random numbers on here? 58, 54, you know, whatever. I like nice round numbers. So it's just really weird. But, you know, if you just look at the stats, I feel like that part is like not that impressive. But I love anything that gives, you know, multiple element resistances, or kind of unique effects. And so, like, I'm looking at this and I think about, you know, yeah, it's 20% fire and ice. And sometimes that's useful to kind of stick on a support unit, especially if it happens to be like a support unit that in this case has the healer tag, just being able to restore 13% MP every turn. You know, if you're not really worried about their like magic and spirit stats for casting purposes, I think it's cool. But like, if you didn't pick it up, it would not be the end of the game.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look here. Let's look at Rainbow Robe. Rainbow Robe is very similar. It has 45 magic, 45 spirit, 45 defense, and then it also has 30% elemental resistances across the board, not just fire and ice resistance at 20%. And the advantage you run with Rainbow Robe is that it is a Trust Mastery from, or an STMR, or no, it's a Trust Mastery from Marie. And so that makes it very easily obtainable. And there's other options that you can get instead of Verschmel Suit for this item.
Yeah. And very, very seldom do you actually need every single element resistance in a single fight. It's just like kind of like a convenience thing that people do. You know, kind of a show off, like, oh, look at this, I've got 100 to every resistance. But like, you know, the fact that it is lower than existing stuff that you could just go grab with unit of choice tickets, that does definitely drop it a little bit. I think this is kind of a nice thing to keep in your back pocket. But if you don't go through the trouble of farming. Now you do, I don't know if you know this, you do have to create 4 of the base Verschmel suit to create the plus.
Yes, so I actually discovered that.
Yeah,
it didn't tell you. So I went to go craft the Verschmel Suit Plus, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
It was just like, you can't upgrade it. And I had to go look up that you
doesn't
have to
tell
have
you why.
2. Yeah, it doesn't tell you why or anything. So in order to make this suit the plus version, you need to have 2 of the plus version, and to make the plus version, you have to have 2 of the regular version.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a harkening back to the old days of like when you had to when we had to make the Frisia poncho or the Choco Pro hat. Yeah, you have to have 4 of the base item.
Now, the interesting thing about this one, if for whatever reason, you could actually make as many of them as you want. You could farm out that stage, which you can do it only once per day for the maximum reward, but you can go in and farm it out for 5 of the unique materia or whatever, the crafting material, for every time you go in. And you could farm out infinite number of these if for some reason you wanted to run a healer only team with high MP recovery.
Yeah. There are some neat units though that do have the healer tag that are not strictly healers. I believe Sylvie, the paladin Sylvie, has the healer tag. So she could potentially wear this. Although I've never had an instance where my Sylvie's running out of mana ever.
There just aren't that many units that have the healer tag to begin with.
Because healers are just not as important as they used to be.
Yeah, and of those units, how many do you actually use? Kresnik, Sylvie.
Yep. I think Chow. Does Chow have the healer
Chow
tag?
has it. Chow has it. Yep.
Yeah. But obviously, if you're running Chow, you're not going to want an item with 54 spirit on it.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So, honestly, if I missed this item, I wouldn't cry any tears.
No. I'm still going to make a ++, but I don't really think people should be that upset about it.
Yeah. So then we got Unbending Shroud. It is an accessory with 60 attack, fire resistance 20%, equipment attack 50%, and 50% human killer. Your thoughts?
That it is. I'm a huge fan of killers, and you know this about me, but I love anything that gives killer effects. I know human is like the most common one in the whole game, but still, just being able to have it on an accessory, especially when it also has this, the 50% true double hand, and it's got resistance. So now we're talking about 3 different properties on an item that also gives kind of like middle range attack. It's kind of nice.
Well, the human killer is only when equipped to Von Harma.
Actually, is it that way, or is it the other way? Is it the true double hand is only Van Harma?
I have it pulled up on my game right now, and it says Man-Eater equipped to Van Harma, Destroyer's Conviction.
Huh. Okay. Well, then never mind. If it's
has
that way, then yeah.
Oh no! Wait, no. A Destroyer's Conviction is the equipment attack 50%. So yeah, I was looking at it incorrectly. So
it's everybody gets human killer then. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So Man-Eater is 50%, and only Van Harma gets the equipment attack.
Okay. Well then, let's just ignore the equipment attack then, because at that point you're talking about a single unit that very easily could have something better to put on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything with more than 80 attack on it, for example. And at this point,
he wants the highest attack you can get him with, because he is the highest attack in the game. So
right. And he's gonna cap out the double hand anyway, with a bunch of other stuff.
With better gear.
Better gear, exactly.
So really, if you're running this, you're running it for its 50% human killer and 60 attack in the accessory slot. You really are looking in some other unit that needs human killer.
Probably. I mean, most people are probably not going to care about the fire resistance. I mean, I dig that it has, multiple properties. But you also get this very easily. You can craft this one with the joined forces insignias. Mm-hmm. So you probably have 1 billion of them laying around anyway, and just upgrade it. Just do it. You get this item for free. Just do it.
So I can craft as many of these as I wanted as well?
No, you can craft one, because you get the base item from doing the story event.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so you're going to go through the story event to get all the lapis and all the rewards, and then you can just make this a +1, because you've probably got 1 billion joined forces insignia.
Which is just the Season 4 insignia, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so worth getting.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to make.
Easy to make. It's a minimal investment to make it, so I would say go ahead and do it.
All right. Then we are on to our units. We didn't get many free items this week. So,
no.
All right. Then we are on to our units. So we got the STMR for Regina. Memory chip of stories, 32 attack, 17 defense, 70 magic, and chain cap 100%.
Yep. I kind of dig it if you're like a brand new player. Like if you saw that there's this like really cool robot looking chick in this random game, and you're like, I'm gonna play this game, and you join in, and you're like, you grab this STMR because you pull a bunch of copies of her, then I think it's like a fairly good item to get you started playing this game. Magic 70 with the chain cap, that's a solid start. But I think for veterans, and especially, obviously we're talking about the global version of the game, the Clash of Wills gear is just better. All the Magister's gear is just straight up better than this in every way.
Oh, absolutely. But you can only get one of them.
Well, 2 rings.
Well, true, 2 rings.
Yeah, you can get 2 rings, but that also takes a long time to be ready for. Like, I see people all the time talking about, oh, I know I need to make Magister's gear, but like I really want the Dancer's helm, or I really want, whatever, and like it just takes a long time if you're starting out in Clash of Wills to try and get all the resources to make it. So in that sense, you can get as many of these as you have STMR movables for. They're a little bit not as good, but they're still a good way to get started.
I mean, I'll take the 100% chain cap mod on anything, because sometimes I'm fishing around. I'm like, nah, I really need to run on. I'll say if I'm running like Angela, and I really need her to have like all the best in slot because she's carrying most of my damage.
Yep.
Turn 12 strat.
Yeah.
And but I really want to get chain cap up on the rest of my units, but I'm using all of my Clash of Will gear on her because she's gonna do like 9 billion damage or something.
And in that way, this is definitely better than Indestructible Light. This is just it's 70 magic better than Indestructible Light and 32 attack better. So like, and it's on an accessory slot which everybody can wear. So it's not without its usefulness, and I'm not saying that it's bad in any way. I just feel like if you've been playing for a while, Magister's rings are better.
Oh yeah, they're definitely better. But if the option for equipment isn't available, this is definitely, because there's just not that many. The number of times I've equipped Lightning's STMR recently, I mean, I go through and equip it often enough. I would much rather equip this.
I would too. But yeah, especially with like the recent World of Visions event, like when you've got to have 5 damage dealers on your team, although you really don't have to. But if for some players who are trying to get as many damage dealers on their team ready to go to do that big burst of damage, yeah, having more options is better.
Yeah. So I see it as a good addition to the STMR pool. If you have the availability, you can go for it, but it's not something to chase. I'm
not chasing it.
Yeah.
I haven't thrown a single ticket.
If I off-banner it, I'll STMR mobile it. Her Trust Mastery reward is Regina Cannon MK2. 180 attack and magic, 2-handed weapon, and for her exclusively 1000 magic.
Great for her.
Yeah, it's great for her. If for your gun-wielding hybrid users, it's amazing.
Everybody else is going to get one of my 3 olive guns.
Exactly, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, because if you're running an attack-based gun, what are your other options?
Laguna's STMR.
Laguna's STMR, okay.
Yeah. Or if you've got it, the Lara Croft shotgun. Also good options. And Laguna's is better because Laguna's has the LB damage on it. For most users, that's going to be better.
You have your upgraded Balthiers.
Also good. Yep, has the True Double Hand on it.
Yeah. Laguna's has the Killers. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so.
But for her, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's for her. It's great, but it's also just a Trust Mastery award, so it's not like if you get her, you don't have to do much work to get it.
Yeah.
But easily passable. All right.
You're not chasing this one, but if you get her, you've got it. So.
Exactly.
I felt the same way about Louise's back in the day. I went in advance and like farmed up all the resources to make 2 of Louise's guns in the event that I was ever going to have Louise available, and like by the time I had her available, she's not useful anymore.
Oh no!
It happens. But hey, you got her, so.
Hey, look at the bright sides, right?
Yeah.
Moving on to Ilhana. Her Super Trust Mastery is an accessory, which looks like a robe, but whatever. it is only equipable by healer units, and it has 2,500 HP, 55 defense and spirit, and 40% to wind, earth, light, and dark resistance. And a equipable ability that you can use for boost physical and magical damage killer for demon or fairy or reaper by 150%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If this was not healer units only, I would say this is pretty good to go chasing after. Just because of the HP and the 4 elemental resistances, and then all these bonus effects, like being able to give Fairy Killer and Reaper Killer, as usable buffs is I think it's nice. I don't know that I would necessarily chase after it, but if I had one, because notice too, it doesn't have the little tag that you can only equip one of these at a time. So you can equip 2 of these and have 5,000 HP on a healer unit.
Oh yeah, you could. You can't
so
dual cast the buffs.
You can't dual cast the buffs, but you could potentially have, 110 defense and spirit and 5,000 HP just from 2 of these if you wanted to go nuts, plus 80 to 4 resistances, half the resistances in the game. So I think it's cool. Again, if I had one,
only equipable by Kresnik or Chow or Sylvie,
Ilhana.
but or Ilhana, because you're using Ilhana.
Ilhana and who's the other one? Ilmatal.
Oh yeah, Ilmatal. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So I don't see that one. But I do love her Trust Mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Hateful Agent. Boost Wind, Earth, Light, and Dark resistance by 20%, and Esper stats by 200%.
Which is the cap. And it's worth noting again, this one only you can wear one of them. But
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. If you have 2 of her STMR and one of her TMR, you've got 100% to Wind, Earth, Light, and Dark resistance.
That is true. So I was talking with this in chat earlier when I was on Twitch, that somebody was like, oh, I missed out on GF extension, so I can't really hit Esper cap that easily. And I was like, well, have you seen Hateful Agent coming off of Ilhana?
Mm-hmm.
Because this just, takes the need for having FOMO for GF extension and just throws it out the window. Here it is, Hateful Agent, Esper cap.
Yep. Very, very slot efficient.
I mean, most units have a little bit in their kit, or you can get, 40% off of an Esper?
I think so. And then you can also grab Phantom Force from Eclipsa.
Mm-hmm.
Dream of the Faith can give you some.
But everything else is 50%.
Yeah, it's definitely not as efficient as this.
Yeah. Whenever you're going for Esper stats, that's probably the only thing you're really going for at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You've capped out on equipment attack or magic or killers or whatever. You're just looking for that last more damage because there's nothing else to slot in.
Yeah.
So
for this to have resistances on top of it is just icing on the cake.
It's fantastic. It says, okay, that unit's at perfect for, I don't know, we'll say their attack, and now they're a little bit more healthy for, if the boss is doing earth damage.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I think her Trust Mastery is, if you get her...
I'd throw a TMR at all of them. If I get more than one of these, I'd throw a TMR Moogle at all.
Oh, I feel like Hateful Agent is worth actually slightly chasing for if you had nothing else to do.
Especially if you don't have GF extension.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so
just rerun GF extension.
Nah, rerunning things, upgrading old units, nah. All right, moving on to Von Harma. Von Harma, the STMR is an axe, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce, with 228 attack, two-handed.
So I really love how it has no passive benefits whatsoever other than being two-handed. And I hope you can hear the sarcasm dripping off of that.
Well, I want to take a look and see what is even comparable in axes. Let's see.
So you're probably going to be looking at Vilk's axe. which is just straight up better
Yep,
in every way.
it's 235 attack, 150% HP, flat attack of 500, and 50% earth resistance. LB damage 50%. But some of those are woke exclusive. But
right, but it's still something. Like even Tulian's, which is going to have a little bit less attack on it, has Machine Killer on it.
It has Machine Killer. It has Beast Killer. I mean, then you have your, double-handed axe, but that's 300 attack. Heck, even the fire-imbued Ignacio's STMR is only 201. That's not that far down.
Not that far down, and is a prominent element. So it's not like it's, a water element axe. Well, I guess water would be good too. It's not like a wind element axe. It's like fire. Fire is useful.
It's just not. It's not that great, honestly. Like, you've got Vilk. Like, even on Vilk, this wouldn't be good because Vilk gets all of his passives from himself, from his own weapon. So. Then you got Von Harma's STMR or Trust Mastery. Again, not gonna try to pronounce it. 60 attack, 60 defense, and only for him, attack by 500.
As far as I'm concerned, you want one of these.
Why?
For Van Harma. If you're gonna run Van Harma, you want the bonus stats. But I guess you could also just run, like, if you had it, you could run like Roos's. Which also has 500 attack or 500 stat for FFBE units.
And 120 attack as opposed to 60.
So I mean, if you don't have Roos, this is fine for Van Harma. But yeah,
I just honestly for
can Van Harma wear clothes?
Let me check.
Yeah. Because that would preclude you from using the like ruler's clothes, the ruler's Celestite clothes.
He can equip all of it.
Okay, so he's fine.
Yep, clothes, hats, helms.
But if you equip him with Roos's clothes, then he has to wear his own STMR.
Because his passive is.
I don't know if it's important, but if you want his passive, you have to have something from him.
His passive is flat attack of 500 and 100% killers to everything.
That seems important. So,
but you only get the 100% killers if an axe is equipped.
So he has to have somebody's axe.
And his Trust Mastery passive.
Trust Mastery, yeah.
Or STR passive.
So I would go ahead and grab one if you had a Van Harma, but again, I'm not chasing after it.
Yeah, and honestly, like, so many global exclusive units come out, I'm, probably not gonna use a Van Harma. And also, he's not like a fan favorite or anything, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even playing through the story. Well, do we want to? I don't know. We still don't know who or what and where he came from. We know very little about him.
He's a suit armor.
To make him interesting.
Yeah, he's mysterious.
And he can make soup that somehow tastes better at the end than at the beginning.
Yeah. It's not that great, but I like it because it's boring and not traitorous.
Yeah. I thought that was so... I was like, what? She's gonna eat this big suit armor soup? Anyway.
Okay. So, moving on to the card, we have a Meeting of Convictions. 130 attack with 3 different killers: plant, stone, and human.
It's got fairly high attack on the card.
Yeah, it doesn't provide anything. So most cards have like equipment attack or something that makes them a little bit more than just a flat stat. This one doesn't have any of that, so it doesn't provide that kind of benefit. But it does provide 2 of the more rare killers, which is stone and plant.
Yep. Which is I am a fan of that. People, you could theoretically see some use from that later this month. But I don't know that that's necessarily going to be better than something else. Although we have talked about before that, just having stats is not necessarily better than killers, depending on the percentages and the amounts. But I feel like for this upcoming Clash of Wills, capping stone for a lot of the different units that people are probably going to want to be bringing is going to be pretty easy. Then they're going to be dealing with Reaper, and Reaper's not on this list.
Yeah, it's just not. So stone between all the global exclusives has been really easy.
Yep.
So I don't know. If I had this, I would add it into my collection, but I don't know how often I would use it, honestly.
I wouldn't use this to level up another card. I would keep it.
I wouldn't use this to level up another card. That's good.
We'll just hang on to it just in case we come up against a tri-race plant stone human monster.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to card cap yet, so
yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the other card that got upgraded. Really, it's only an upgrade if you're equipping it to 7-star units, though. And you get it for some reason for Awakening Ultimate Regina to EX1 and EX3.
Yeah.
That's terrible, because you probably already have 80 of these cards anyway. I'm actually getting tired of getting random cards. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Every time I pull a Neovision and I get the random card, I'm just like, skip. How do I can I decline this function?
We need the update at some point that the Chinese server had, where like they just like skip all the animations, you just get the unit in your inventory.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Well, I didn't realize until recently why we even have that is because on the JP server, all vision cards are random.
Yeah, you can just grab anything.
Yeah, so I could just get like I don't know, like any vision card that isn't a premium unit's vision card from the poll. But here it's always, the freebie cards.
Yeah.
So I feel like the system of getting a card with a unit over on global just doesn't work as good.
So I do have some problems with this one. One is that yes, the 7-star unit exclusive ability exists and gives you 500 attack, right? But the attack, the level 10 attack on the card is really low. And yeah, we do technically get 200 more from the level 7 ability, but now we're talking basically only being usable for 7 stars, and the 600 magic that it gives you is nice, but you're not getting any magic off the level 1 and 10 abilities. That's
correct.
The base stats of the card. So it feels very obvious that they had to give something to Regina to make it maybe be useful for her, but I feel like even Regina's not going to want to wear this.
No, definitely not. No, there's so many more cards that you would want to put on her. I mean, yeah. I don't know, Fryevia's card. It's not for her, at least on the global server. But if you're using a 7-star, like you've really got, your Bay, this is definitely an upgrade for them.
Yeah, giving them the 500 attack and the modifier boost to a 7-star unit is awesome.
Like there was a guy on one of my other videos. He was like, "Man, I love this upgrade because I have always used Hyo. I love Hyo, and this is such a huge upgrade for him." And I'm like, "Great, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. Keep working on the unit you love." And
yeah,
so for like,
attack for him, that's pretty good.
So for like, if you really enjoy using that one specific unit that is your 7-star, this is great. But otherwise, it's not seeing use with anybody in any practical sense.
Nope.
All right. And just because you do get these tickets with the current Regina banner, I wanted to talk about the original Armory 2 items. So our first one is the spiked helmet, 60 attack, 30 defense, and HP 50%.
I think to me it just seems weirdly built. Like the fact that it's got 30 defense and 50% HP, like it makes it seem like it should be a tank item, but it's also got 60 attack on it, and none of those are like particularly great. Other than the 50% HP, none of those stats are particularly good at their specific category. Like there are higher attack helmets, there are higher defense helmets. It's
so here's my thing for it. So if you look at it for HP, and that's really where it's at. Is HP percent is oftentimes better than flat HP, and so because flat HP just adds a number, it just adds like it tacks on 1,000 or whatever. But HP percent takes it off of whatever your HP pool is and increases it by that amount. So HP percent is better, and you have for like HP in the hat slot, what you have is like Moogle Mask, and Moogle Mask it's just got magic on it, has no attack. You have like the Diadem of Will, which if you are running that, you're running on your provoke tank, not your attacker. Right. So then you're bringing it all the way down to like the Beside Blue Bandana from Final Fantasy X with 52 attack and 1500 HP. You're probably going to get more HP off of this one with 50% HP and 60 attack. So like it's usable if it was like an STMR from a unit I was already going for. But I don't see going for it specifically. It is if you have a attacker and you're willing to drop their attack down a little bit and get more HP for them, then it can be good. But I don't see it as anything that's worth going for.
It has a place, all right?
It has.
If you're exactly like you said, if you are doing up against a trial where you need more bulk just to survive an uncoverable fixed damage attack or something like that, or an uncoverable non-elemental attack, and you just have to have the HP to do it. You know, Sky is notoriously squishy, so like if you need that extra 50% HP, it's a way to put it on an attacker unit without you're going to be losing, 250 from rulers plus an additional 30 attack off of it, but you're gonna
maybe you survive the hit. Yeah,
maybe you survive the hit. Yeah.
So and you run rulers on some other unit. Yeah,
I think the same is also true of the thinking cap, and just switch.
I see thinking cap is the worst item in the whole batch because for thinking cap you're running up against the Moogle Mask, which has 53 magic and 3000 HP and 75% Stone Killer. 50%. And it also has HP percent 100. So it's giving you 3000 HP. It's giving you 100% HP and then a little bit 20 lower magic. But you get 75% Stone Killer off of it. So I actually see Thinking Cap as the worst item in the whole batch.
And isn't Moogle Mask a TMR?
Let me see here. Moogle Mask is a TMR. Yeah.
Kind of sad.
Just make sure of that.
Yeah,
it is a Trust Mastery.
Yeah, because I know I have more than one of them. So, yeah.
Yep. So I see Thinking Cap is the worst in the whole batch. So then we have the two shields. Basically, I feel like we can talk about both of them at the same time. Because they're basically the same, except one's for defense, one's for spirit, and they have different elemental resistance on them. So it's kind of hard to say which one's better because it's very situational.
Well, the gain on it though is a little different. So like the defense 110 versus spirit 190. Those numbers are obviously different, but I still feel like, I think they're definitely usable. But if you're talking about a spirit shield, we've got better options, except for the flat HP on it. I do love all the resistances and stuff, but I just feel like we've got other options that you don't have to spend a bunch of lapis to go in to get this item.
A bunch of lapis. So with the defense and spirit, sure, you've got better for that in all your heavy shields. All the heavy shields have better for defense and spirit if that's what you're gearing for.
Yep.
If you're gearing for HP, I struggle to find what's better.
Right.
So if you're going for just the flat HP that's on it, then sure, great. You found your item.
Mm-hmm.
And for the elemental resist is really where these things meat and potatoes are at. It's the 50% for 4 different elements, which that's pretty high.
A lot of shields cap out at like 30%.
Mm-hmm.
50% if it's like 1 or 2. Like I'm thinking of the like Sacred Shield Charlotte's is like 50% ice and light, I think. But you know, for it to have 4 is very nice. But most of the time, if you can get your elemental resistance high enough, how much HP you have does not matter anymore.
Yeah, Sacred Shield Charlotte is 50% for ice and light specifically, 218 spirit, and HP 20%.
Right. Which could be better. 20% could be better than 2,000 HP.
It could be if you're running like a 60,000 HP Chow or something. You know, that could be better. But maybe you need, we'll say, lightning and fire resistance for this fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So I see these. If you had them, you'd probably use them.
Sure.
But they're not a reason to go chase. I would say, if you think about it like Tetris, I would just use, you know, like 2 L blocks rather than using 2 square blocks. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Because I think 28K for the step up to get the Armory ticket.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And all you're getting along the way is maybe a Regina.
Actually, I don't even think it's Regina, is it? Or is it on?
It's on
no,
Regina.
On Regina, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah. Especially when you have to contend against what's coming next.
You get your Clash of Wills banner coming up next week, so
yeah.
So, and you know, that's always a fun time seeing what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually a must pull. So I don't know, the Wooden Buckler and the Desert's Mirror, if you get them in your inventory, great, but it's not a must have in any way, shape, or form.
I think the problem for me is that so far, all of this set of Armory tickets has been on banners that I don't actually want to go for.
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the point of it.
I'm not getting them as a bonus. You know, like all the last ones were all on like, well, goodness, like they had the Armory ticket on Sylvie and Esther's banner, so everybody got all you need is strength. Everybody who knew what they were doing got all you need is strength because it was on when Esther and Sylvie were together.
I mean, you can assure that one of these is going to be on a good banner.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe even on the Clash of Wills. But
I don't think they'll run it back to back.
Probably not. Probably be a card.
Yeah. So the next item is Killer of Myths. 50% attack and magic and 75% killer for beasts, dragons, and fairies.
Yeah.
Really, I see this as 75% fairy killer.
Yep.
Because the rest of it, like, by the time I get to killers, I've usually capped out on attack and magic percent, and 50% ain't gonna help.
Mm-hmm.
And
it depends.
Beast and dragon killer is so common.
Yeah, fairy is where it's at here.
Mm-hmm. So really, I see this as 75% fairy killer, and that's it.
Yeah. But sometimes that 75% is really good.
Sometimes it is, yeah.
Yeah, especially for something like Fairy. Reaper would be another one that I'd be pretty excited about. But
Aquan.
Aquan, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But so I see as far as like killers go, even the killer isn't something I really want to chase for.
Mm-mm. But if I did one of these step ups though, where I got the Armory ticket, that's probably where I personally would start.
Oh yeah, if you got the Armory ticket, you would start with the killer.
Yeah.
If you were pulling hard on every banner, I would say start with the killer, then the 2 shields, then the hat. Then I would have a hard time stomaching whether the materia or the thinking cap comes next.
Probably the materia, honestly. But it depends on what you have access to. Like if you're like us and you've got multiple Moogle masks, then the materia for sure.
Let's see here. What is boost equipment magic when a single weapon is equipped in both hands? What is that equipment magic percentage?
I believe it's 100.
See if I can.
I'll try and find
Look
it
at
too
it.
really quick because I don't have it yet, but
When equipped with one weapon, boost equipment magic by 100%.
yeah.
Okay, so it's 100% equipment magic. That's okay, and LB damage 50%. That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So usable.
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah.
In the meta that we're in with magic two-handed variants existing in the game, it's a good way to get 100.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not something to chase for, but it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay, so my order would still be the killer, then the 2 shields. I don't know.
I think I'd personally pick the materia over both of the helmets, but that's just me.
Then the I would go killer, shields, materia, then the spiked helmet, and then the thinking cap just to sell it.
Yeah, because I need 800 more gil.
Is that how much it sells for?
I have no idea.
All right.
But it can't be too much.
So so for this week, what are your thoughts for the items for this week?
A lot of stuff that would not be the end of the world if you missed it. And the units themselves are not time limited, so sooner or later you're going to get a Regina. Sooner or later you're going to get an Ilhana or a Van Harma. You've probably already got the Story of Beginnings Vision card. I would say most of the Armory tickets is skippable, so you're looking at the only time limited stuff being the Verschmel suit and the Unbending Shroud, and both of them are just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, get Marie's STMR and you're good.
Yeah, you could. That's what I was thinking. You were talking about how like is the Rainbow Robe compared to Verschmel suit, and it's like, yeah, do I want to just go spend, a couple of STMR tickets or a couple of unit of choice tickets and just go grab a Marie?
Yeah, and be done with it.
Or an Awakened Rain, because his STMR has better resistances on it and worse stats, but is on an accessory rather than a closed slot. So like it's very useful in that respect.
Yeah, and I mean then you get your accessory with 60 attack on it and 50% human killer.
Yep,
which is usable. That's equipable.
It's very usable.
But
so somebody who's
otherwise,
gonna be doing some chip damage for you.
Otherwise, when you get them, STMR Regina, TMR Ilhana, and leave Van Harma to die?
Probably, with his soup.
With his soup. All right, Gerrtt. Well, thanks for helping me out with this week.
Yeah, thanks for sitting and chatting with me about it.
All right. See you guys next week. Much love. Peace.